everyone would like to get to Southern California. Okay, so the competition is huge. So I would make sure that when you're putting together a summary of experiences, the bullets are bringing those key words out we just mentioned from the job description. Okay, usually, let's say the entering freshman coming straight out of high school, many of those do not have any jobs. So for a company that's willing to hire freshmen, companies like Accenture and certain companies, even Edison, they know that because they have an extensive training program. So that's why that GPA is higher. And we have a number of good students who are working at Edison, and a number of alumni that come out that really assist us and participate in our workshops. Again, use power words. The power words are the action words. They show a lot of strength. An example of a very passive word is like helped. Okay, you want to replace the word with helped with something like collaborated. You can pull up power words online. I have oh yeah, the career link. Make sure if you really want to get some good information, career link, because I was about to say I do have a menu, but I got that from career link that I use, and you can do the same. You can pull up a online copy of the job search manual, and they have a strong list of power words or action words. Okay, and we can talk about that later. We're going to, when we look at some of the resumes, I'll definitely be focusing in on passive words to see if we can replace those with power words. Identifying methods for effectively sharing a resume. So we know what that is. So that'll be fax, that'll be email, but you just want to make sure that when you're sharing it, that it is clean. If you're applying for, let's say, Raytheon, please make sure that you don't have Lockheed Martin anywhere in there, because you've been applying there also. So just double check your work, have somebody else read it, because a lot of times, we miss stuff anyway. Even when we do documents, we miss certain things. Cover letter, we can talk about that a little later. Cover letters are, it's a little different nowadays when you do cover letters, because it's usually in a nice attachment. It's in your body, your Word file, and you usually maybe a paragraph. You speak of in terms of some issues that you might have when your GPA dropped from that 3.5 to a 3.3 or whatever, And a lot of companies do not necessarily read a cover letter right off. They will read a personal statement if they request it from you, which is really tied into the same thing. Cover letters are basically used it really helps the hiring managers to, in their selection process, if they have 3 candidates with strong, similar credentials, that cover letter really comes through at that point. Integrating methods to tailor the resume package for target industries and employers. I think we kind of just hinted on that strategy, and that those methods would be looking at the job description, changing the job description frequently to the different companies that you apply to. And the last bullet on this page, addressing special circumstances and time gaps. Again, cover letter will put that in. And you do that if you strongly feel is needed. You do not want to give too much information in terms of special circumstances. You get to the interview, and you can address any issues then if asked. If they ask you for it, then provide it. If you're feeling in the interview that you're kind of losing the session, then you highlight certain circumstances. I had to spend time taking care of my young sister. I had to take care of my mom, my grandmother that semester. It was a really tough semester. I got ill or whatever, right? But you want to keep those things very brief. You don't want to give out too much information, particularly too much personal Okay, so resume package, cover letter, resume, boom, 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 stuff there. A formal written profile that presents a person's knowledge, skills, and abilities to potential employees. This is a great time, my friends, to brag, to really put that information out there. Companies like to see if you have any volunteer stuff. They love that. If we have any veterans here, of course, they love that. If you've traveled, that's why Catholic University has a very, very good study abroad program. I strongly recommend it to students if you have not done that yet. So you really want to really show off, man. Go for it, because the competition, again, I'm going to mention the competition so much in this presentation because a lot of students, I feel, and from my understanding and speaking with students, they take it for granted. They might have a very good resume package, very good GPA, but you forget that right down the street, so does that other student, or right up the stairs, the next department, so does the other student, or right next to you in your class, so do those students. So get your resume packaged to a point where you're very confident that you are ready to meet the competition. If you feel that, then let it flow. You know, providence. Let it just flow because you're confident in what you have. Conflicting advice as to how. Oh, by the way, Marina Crawford.
Yes. Yes.
Feel free to jump in too if you wanted to enhance something I'm saying. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Conflicting advice as to how the perfect resume should look and what it should include. I don't like that word perfect, but pretty close. Get as close as you possibly can. That's why it's good to have feedback. That's why it's good to go to mock interviews that the Career Center offers and our program try to offer to get feedback. Feedback is crucial. Appropriate resume depends on work experience. You know, the dates. We'll get to the model, the setup later, but make sure you're just looking at the script here as far as what is appropriate. A well-written resume makes it easy for potential employers to quickly identify your skills and work experience. That last line there is so important, you guys, because I know what you're gonna. I know you know what I'm about to say. It's a competition. They see a lot of resumes. We deal with these people, the HR folks, hiring managers. They see a lot of resumes. Make it easier for them. Matter of fact, when you look at your resume, try to imagine that you were a hiring manager and review your resume. And look what you see. If it's long gobbledygook, they're not going to pay attention to that, you guys. They really want it. You know, it's unfortunate. That's why I said use the words, the language, the lingo from a company's job description, because that job description that they create and they make it look extremely difficult because they want to weed out a lot of people. And any job looks difficult. Even the jobs that we have now, the job description, you look at that, go, oh my Lord, you know, that kind of thing. But you end up doing the job and you go, oh my God, this is, you know, piece of cake, whatever, you know, it's a good challenge. So it goes through their database. They scanned it, your resume. They scanned it, and then that they pick up the buzzwords or the keywords. Can someone tell me an example of what would you look at as a hiring manager? What is a keyword or buzzword? Osberto, you with us?
Yes, I am.
What do you think is a keyword that you would look for?
Maybe like hardworking team player.
Okay, yeah, good. Thank you so much. I just, that's very important. I forgot to add, we want to be careful not to overuse certain words, and team player is an overused action word, but you can use team player in an interview when you see, you can jump in there with that, okay?
Raisa says skills and certifications. And Jose says dedicated, consistent. Sorry, some of them are writing it in the
Okay.
chat.
Now, they're doing that because, and when it's,
Yeah. And then Brandon says resourceful.
I like that. Okay. Couple more, throw it out there. Julissa, let us hear from you.
Experienced.
Okay, you got another one? Let's say you are a hiring manager and you're looking for buzzwords that's going to stand out.
Dedicated.
I like that. Thank you. Who else? What else you have, Marina or Wendy? I'm notorious for not reading the chats because I'm looking at people. I really, I do that in class too.
Well, it's kind of hard to do when you're screen sharing.
It's terrible for me.
That is it so far. We got a couple more. So they said bilingual, multilingual, cooperative. Cooperative is good.
You just said it.
I think I said resource. Oh yeah, and then. Oh, sorry, Andrew just joined. He just got out of class, so he wasn't sure what you were asking.
I just put a check by your name also down.
That's funny.
Each next semester, physically.
Oh, problem solver is another one that we just got.
I like that. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that. Okay. 5 steps toward a winning resume. Gathering information. And I need to go after you guys again to understand that what type of information you're gathering. Fee, Kingo, Benet, what type of information will you be gathering? What type of, anybody, what type of information you need to gather? Because you want to be very careful. You don't want, excuse the expression here, you don't want garbage. And what I mean by that is irrelevant material. You really want to stay focused. Job requirements, okay, thank you. Work experience and projects, thank you. Yes, work experience, projects, especially if you're up a division. Well, you don't have to be up a division now. You can start early. Research. A lot of students do not have research, collaborations. Yeah, a lot of students do not have research. They don't get into the research. I understand when you're first coming in, we can appreciate that. But a little hint here, the first chance you get, even though many, particularly the tenure track professors, they look for assistants and they tend to go after graduate students. Now, that's understandable. But they will pay the graduate students because they typically, meaning the tenure track professors or tenure, they typically have grants and they can pay. So they would pay the grad students, and the grad students definitely would need that. But if you can do a couple of volunteer hours to assist in a research project, that's very good, but you want to be very careful. You don't want to be overwhelmed because for the most part, you probably are not getting paid, and the graduate student is getting paid and you're doing the work and the graduate student is at the beach. You want to make sure that you get on the credits as well, so you can cite that on your resume. Very important stuff. So number 2, creating the information heading and utilizing proper layout. You probably have that right now. We'll look at that down the road. The layouts are pretty typical, but the change, of course, now is people still do it. We do not want you to have your personal information on your resume. It's amazing after a career fair, and many of you probably have been to the career fair on campus. And man, when it's over, the number of resumes that are left behind. So if you are one of those headhunters or one of those creeps that call you all the time trying to sell you some crap, or they have all your information. They have your name, they have your email, they have your cell number, they have your home number, they have your address, they have your city, they have your current job, they have everything they need, and you left it on the floor or balled it up and threw it in the garbage. So when you're doing your resume these days, only thing you need, of course, is your name, your city, okay, and state, and your email and your cell number. That's okay. Number 3, writing a skill summary or personal profile. That, you guys, again, I would have one available and ready, but wait till they ask for it. And that's the same with references. Do not send a list. That's old school stuff. Do not send with your resume a list of references. Not only don't send it, but especially if you haven't contacted those people, okay? So when they ask you for resumes, good sign. Good sign. Then you contact references and let them know if it's okay if you submit their name and their information, okay? So the skill summary or personal profile, you hold off on that until the personal profile. You hold off on that until requested. The writing skills summary would be, as I began the presentation with, would be at the top. I would call it summary of experience. If you would pull that career menu from the career link and keep it. It's a lot of good information in there. You know, I would get that if I were you. Number 4, inserting skills, accomplishments, and experiences related to the job, related to the assignment that is being requested. No overkill with the wording, etc. As you construct your resume, make every word visual presentation and fact. Sell your skills and accomplishments. We wanted to say visual presentations. That like a lot of times people, engineering students, you guys, putting Microsoft Office and stuff is not necessarily needed right now because it's assumed. If you choose to put anything on the Microsoft Office, of course, Excel, PowerPoint, but if you put PowerPoint, and I say this a lot, make sure that that PowerPoint is whistling, jumping. I mean, it's a serious PowerPoint, not this click next, next screen, next screen, next screen. Make it get attention to people, and that's that visual presentation. Make sure that very attractive. Most of you know PowerPoint, and many of you know it well. So make sure that you stand out with that type of skill, because that's preparing you for any presentation. Internships, for example, let's say a company would hire 20, 25, 30 interns for the summer. More than likely, after their experience, they're going to be put in groups and will be presenting their research or activities or projects to hiring managers. Perhaps some VPs will show up. There's cases where the CEO has showed up. And so I'm telling you, if you have that opportunity, you're going to go for it. You're going to go for it big time. As you construct your resume, make every word visual. Said that. Okay, so next, create a draft document with key headings. This is the typical line that many of you have that. Again, before that, I would like to emphasize again, right above here, I would put the summary of it. So we're talking education skills, employment, languages, honors, awards, etc. For the entering freshmen, since in my mind, you still mentally, some of you are high school students. You haven't even finished the semester yet. We're in the 3rd week. Get through this week, then you are a college student. I would be, if you have some outstanding activities that you had from your junior, senior year, put that down. Outstanding stuff, okay? Different than many other students at your high school. As you move up in college, you would start dropping that stuff down. Of course, by the time you are a junior, you really shouldn't have anything from high school. Again, unless it's something big time, President Scholar stuff, that can definitely ride, to doomsday if you are a President Scholar. Again, do not include personal information. Relevant contact information, including name, complete and formal, including middle initial, You erase that. If you are, of course, it's a cell phone, but just make sure that you're careful with your introduction on your cell phone, not alone, a whole album of your favorite song before you say hello. You need to be very careful with that. Email address. Hopefully, now, again, back to the entry freshman and up, you want to change to a more professional email address, not something, with some crazy nickname that your grandmother gave you. That's why we encourage you to use the EDU, Castle Long Beach account, and we don't respond to Gmails, and we hopefully you're not sending out information to companies with Gmail. You're using your EDU student account. Of course, review it for completeness. Proper grammar, spelling, and don't depend on the spell check. Oh my God, I got stuck in a couple of times just depending on spell check and accuracy. Check format, capitalization, and punctuations. I'm not gonna throw Ms. Crawford under the bus here, but boy, she's good at that kind of stuff. She's a former librarian. I mean, go tell. Arrange information in proper resume layout. You got these different type of resumes, functional, advanced. We're not dealing with those at this stage. We're dealing with chronological. Okay, so you don't need these right now, unless I have a graduate student, somebody been out in the field working big time, full time. Okay.
Emmitt, what are your thoughts on going over one page?
We keep hearing it, and this continue to be a no-no.
Yeah.
It continues to be a no-no. People go, oh my goodness, why not? You can do it if you double check you can get to a one page if you double check your resume. A lot of times, it's almost like you get to a certain age and you want to put up, box it, put in the garage, your hobbies when you were in a freshman or something, your Polly Pockets or your G.I. Joes. I mean, at some point, you hope you're not playing with it when you're 40 years old, but if you are, it's your own business. That's how difficult it is for some people to let go certain things they did and they had a great experience with, and they don't want to let it go. But if it's not relevant to the job that you're applying for, let it go, you guys, and shut out a lot of the wordings, and you can easily get it cut down to that one page. But no, keep it to one page, and we're constantly hearing it. It's hard. It's really hard for people who are really ambitious and who have been doing a lot of things. I'm looking at Brandon's stuff. Should be.
Yeah, so Brandon asked, is it true that it should be one page for every 10 years of experience? At what point can we go over?
Well, at some point, I don't know if you know about a curriculum. It's sometimes pronounced VITA, a curricula vitae or VITA. That's when that stuff, it gets thick because they have a lot of research stuff, and usually it's for faculty or people who've really been into academia. But when a person, 10 years employee, they usually would have some big, thick resumes. I still say if you are a student, you probably want to be very careful, but that you can just use wording in your summary of experience that highlight the fact that if I had many other experience, including this, that, boom, 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 and that's up top in your summary of experience, so you don't have to extend it to another page.
Yeah, I think the one page for every 10 years of experience is a good rule of thumb to go by. However, if you've been working in industry for a long time, or you're a military student or a veteran, then yeah, you're definitely going to have at least 2 pages. More than 2 pages, nobody here should have more than 2 pages, except for Emmitt and myself, maybe. But everybody else here should probably have no more than 2 pages. If you were in the military, for example, you're probably going to bleed over into that second page, and that's okay because most engineering companies are going to be looking for that military experience that you can then apply to the new industry. But if you are not in that situation, then I say, yeah, stick to 1 page for sure. Yeah, and a lot of the time it just comes down to formatting. A lot of the time when I see resumes that are going on to 2 pages, a lot of it is about how much white space you actually have on your template that you're using for your resume. So, and then again, like Emmitt said, you can cut down a lot of the verbiage as well. And just keep in mind that a lot of hiring managers and recruiters, they don't have time to be looking through, reading every single little bullet point that you put on your resume. So you really want to highlight the points that are in the job description, and then the rest of it you can talk about in the interview. So that's just my personal opinion.
Well said, and thank you so much. It's amazing. I've seen some resumes, and instead of having a second page, which, like we said, is kind of a no-no, they had it on the back.
Oh,
right?
no.
To save paper. Who's gonna flip it over? You
No
might
one's
go.
going to see that, yeah.
Yeah, so just try your best to keep it low. But if you're a student right now, you should. I don't think you have 10 years experience. I don't think. Maybe you do. Who knows? Okay. Where are we here? Yeah, avoid using the templates because it gets so general and so common. Okay. You can pull up a template, for example, on. You want to be an individual and your own person. That's basically what it's also saying. As we mentioned earlier, looking at certain formats. We talked about chronological. That's what we're dealing with right now. The most current experience. Don't ever forget volunteer stuff because, again, I think I mentioned it earlier. It's very attractive. You volunteered at your church, you volunteer at your temple or mosque or wherever. Youth activities is powerful. Any type of serious issue in our society, battered women's homes or whatever, boy, that stuff stands out because that means that you are willing and ready to go beyond, to give back to society. I would appreciate it if you could just go ahead and read this part and I could just highlight kind of like a play-by-play.
They can't see it, Emmitt.
Oh,
You have
really?
to share your screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Emmitt, you haven't shared your screen with us.
Share that?
Yeah.
Oops.
Now we can.
You mean you guys have never saw the screen?
No.
Thanks for telling me.
I messaged you twice, but you didn't read it.
Oh, read that. I thought I had company. Oh my God. I thought everybody was looking at this.
You did an excellent job describing it, though.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Wow. I was feeling so lonely. Okay, so everybody did now. That's good. I don't know how that happened. I did. Okay, so skill summary used on functional resume. Again, I don't have to deal with that because we're not using functional. Personal profile used on an advanced skill resume. That's more pages again. Make the resume personalized and powerful. Personalized and powerful. And again, action words, or some people call it the power words. That's what's going to make it powerful. Use the completed accomplishments word, but you don't need that. Make specific to the employer and the job. We talked about that earlier. Again, this is a good example. And I'm saying this lightly. So you can look at a job description, plagiarize, grab those words, grab those wordings, grab their language, and they can relate to that right away. It's kind of like a mindset for those employers. They're very familiar with that because they wrote the job description. All right. I don't know how to stress that even stronger. Try it, you guys. Pull up a job description and look at the language. Right now, they would have your basic languages. They would have, for example, recruiting students, whatever. They would have the GPA requirement, the class level, but then they get into the curriculum, right? Then they get into certain software they need to see. Those things are really important that you want to make sure that you have on your resume. Because if you don't put that information that they designed on your resume, and Mary or John did, Mary and John will be invited to the interview, and yours been scanned and the information not picked up, they're not gonna pay attention to it at all. Why should they? Here's some examples. You can take a picture of this if you have it. Highly motivated and positive person seeking to obtain a position as an office professional with Roxy's whatever clothing company that will enable me to utilize my current customer service skills and office assistant education. I think what's good about this, it kind of stops right there. It's not a run-on. It doesn't go too long. And you can also have a line or so and then do a few bullets, but make the bullets side by side so you don't eat up the paper, if you know what I'm trying to say, with key stuff, powerful stuff. Let me know you guys have questions or when I should stop or emphasize. Personal profile, highly professional in detail. Okay, 2 to 3 sentence statement that provide a snapshot of our professional qualifications in a manner that sells your knowledge, skills, and abilities. Personal profile. Example, highly professional and detail-oriented accounting professional with demonstrated, these are buzzwords here, these are power words, demonstrated leadership and success in the areas of payroll, collection, project management, possess. I have students would ask me, you know, they're engineering students, maybe sophomore, whatever, say, I worked at McDonald's, should I put it there? Of course, I mean, you better, and especially if you were on that, in addition to, should I say, if you were on the cash register, hurry up and put that on there, because it says a lot about trust and your ability. If you're on that front, you know, most people are, I guess you guys rotate if you have, you know, but I'm not a beef eater, but I had to pick up some food, and that in and out, man, those people were working like ants in there. And I think that any place like that, that's of high demand, especially near campus, and boy, they're at it. I think those students, when you put something like that on your resume, not to take away from any other restaurants, come on, waiters, waitresses, dealing with human beings, oh my goodness. You can really stand out with how you handle crises. Let's say if you worked in a, let's say Walmart or Target or whatever around Christmas, after Christmas, and you were assigned to work in the return department. Oh my God, you want to talk about a battleground? And it's how you handle yourself, your people skills, your people skills, your people skills. I've seen people go totally off in the return section, some funny, some tragic, all right? And I also, unfortunately, seen the people behind the counter who have been trained down on that stuff went off too. So that's not good. But, you know, humans sometimes slip up, and I hope they learn their lesson. I'm talking about the ones behind the counter who are trained to deal with that stuff. Skills, accomplishments, and experience. Detailed skills, work experience, and professional accomplishments. List skills relevant to target job first. Okay, the job description we talked about. Be specific when mentioning computer skills. Include areas and proficiency levels. Don't just throw that out there. A lot of times we have students who just throw some stuff out there. They're pretty heavy, and I'm sure you're gonna learn fast. But I hope, especially for the upper division students, if you get an interview and you say on your resume that you know this particular software, and heaven forbid if they test you on it, right? So make sure you're pretty accurate, or something you can pick up very fast. And I mean, you guys are very sharp, and many of you can do that. So in other words, don't put anything that you really are very poor, you have very poor skills in, be careful with that stuff. Work experience include learned skills, job duties, and accomplishments for paid, unpaid, or volunteer. Quantify when possible. And I'm glad that's there because you always want to quantify, you know, I increased the sales by 10%, hired 5 trainees for the department that raised the revenue or whatever. And then you also want to qualify. Job-specific skills, skills that are directly related to a specific job or industry. Okay, we kind of talked about that. Okay. So you want to make sure that you don't put a resume with many different hats. And what I mean by that is, some students say, you ask a person, well, what do you want to do? I say, I want to do this, this, and this. Okay, that's 3 different resumes. You want to stay specific with a resume and build on that particular resume. We're going to talk about transferable skills. Is there anyone who can tell us about some transferable skills that you have? Anyone want to share?
Working in a high-paced environment.
Like that? Thank you. Anyone else?
Cashiering.
You can go all over the place to cashier, even through your own piggy bank. Thank you. What else? Transferable skills? Somebody mentioned it earlier.
Problem solving.
Problem solving.
Ravneet says customer service skills.
Yes, for sure. People skills. You guys, going into a company with poor people skills, no one will keep you. No company would want to hire someone with poor people skills because you'll bring down the entire department. No one in that department will like you first. And if you're not moved out, people would just leave. So, I mean, that's like a 90, you can be extremely skilled in certain areas, but that's replaceable. But if you have poor people skills, please pay attention to this, your people skills. Because stereotypically, people say engineering students or science students have poor people skills, right? And that's why we're doing it right now. We're trying to, and that's what professional development is, to enhance your soft skills, which are people skills, your ability to communicate verbally and written. Please, I know you guys are good at your gamers and good on computers, but please work on your communication skills and your people skills, okay?
Emmitt, can I say something really
Please.
quick? So there was a couple of years ago, there was a Boeing vice president that actually talked to me about this specifically, and he was asking if I would do a workshop on teamwork and communication skills and leadership. And I said, yeah, that's perfectly fine. But I asked him why he wanted that workshop. And he said that a lot of engineers are hesitating to go into management tracks. And I joked with him and said, well, that's because engineers actually like managing projects. They don't necessarily like managing people. And he said, yeah, but that's unfortunate because what ends up happening is the people that actually manage the people are the people who tend not to always be so confident in their engineering skills because they have more business background, for example. So if you guys are interested in progressing forward in your careers, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to your soft skills. And that's what a lot of industries are looking for, are, like Emmitt was saying, those transferable skills. But also, yes, we as engineers are hopeful that you are good at the technical stuff, but it's really the soft skills that are going to allow you to differentiate yourself from all the rest of the candidates out there. And then the other thing that I was going to mention really quick is in regards to acronyms. Be very careful with using acronyms on your resume. This was something I was going to mention on the last slide, just because there are a lot of acronyms that are used that mean different things according to different industries. So it might be the same acronym, but it means something completely different. So just be careful about, shorthand on your resume.
I think that is so important. Thanks for bringing that up.
Sure.
And I think that in the beginning of your resume, even the school, when you just say CSULB, you can spell it out in the beginning, and then as you go down,
Right.
you do. For example, certain schools, you know, have different, USC, for example, right? I mean, we know that here because we were here in California, and then it's nationally, but there's also University of South Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even what's interesting too, and as an alumni, I throw this out there, when you type in USC, the Trojans do pop up. So sorry about that. I don't think the University of South Carolina pops up. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Or University of South Colorado. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and keep in mind for companies like, I'm going to pick on Northrop for a minute. They have facilities all over the country. So your resume may actually get sent to Florida, or it may get sent to Oklahoma, and they may not be aware of what CSULB is. So yeah, definitely make sure at least once on your resume you spell it out for them, so that anybody who's looking at your resume doesn't have to wonder what it is that you're trying to say. Because they're not going to spend the time to do it. I'll just tell you right now.
so much. And I think you can help me with this, Marina, too, because even though I've been on the campus, so many changes. We want to use California State University, Long Beach versus Long Beach State.
Yeah.
Is that similar to what that email you sent out before, Marina?
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah.
Okay. The athletic program, they're known to actually go Long Beach State is short, and that's what they do. You know, you see it on their logos, LB. But you want to do the California State, it's long too, California State University, Long Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you aware that Cal State Long Beach and Cal State LA, we have the same colors?
Yeah, we do.
How did that happen?
I have no idea.
We're missing one powerful transferable skill. We have a couple minutes before we get into the resume reviews. Somebody mentioned it earlier, you guys. Throw it out there. A transferable skill that's very powerful. Somebody already said it earlier.
Somebody just said resourcefulness.
I like that, but that's not the one that we were talking about. How about the language, bilingual? And boy, put that down. And I like to say this, Wendy, heard this 1,000 times. Sorry, Wendy, I gotta say it. There was a huge conference in Seattle. Bill Gates speaking to some brilliant computer science. It was a conference, brilliant, 300, 400. And these people were from all over the place, MIT, Caltech, you name it, Cal State Long Beach, all over the place, right? And so it was a conference, and at the end, questions and answer, somebody jumped up there and he started bringing about all the software he knew, and people, sit down. And so he asked Bill Gates, what else should I know? I already got all this stuff down. And then Bill Gates hesitated for a minute, looked around, and he said 2 words, and it freaked out the whole. He said Spanish and Chinese. And you heard mumbling and grumbling, and because people didn't pay attention to those skill sets, and we are in a global market. Okay, so one more minute here, and we're gonna look at the soft skills. People mentioned this earlier. Employers want employees who are reliable, big time, team players, good communicators, able to get along well with others. We just said this. Okay, these are important. You can work it up as priority. Able to get along well with others. I'll put that first, and reliable, dependable. Okay. Yeah, those are extremely important. We have some examples here. I'm moving right along right now because I want to see some resumes. Okay, oral and written communication skills, you guys. Enhance that part here. Take some classes there. We do have a writing lab on campus. A lot of students don't use it. You can send them your material. They can screen it and edit it for you and show you some really good stuff to put on and to write a good cover letter or whatever. Okay, the accuracy of whatever, people are still getting tested. Again, we said earlier, if you experience, you mentioned Excel, because that's still very powerful. People are using that. Word, you don't have to, we're assuming all that stuff. And then the PowerPoint, making sure that you're very good at that stuff. Access, people still use it. And that kind of data stuff is always good. Power statement skills, excellent, accurately, strong, maintain, what we was talking about here, maintain confidentiality, positive attitude, motivated and organized, listening, work experience include job title. We were talking about all this stuff. I'm zooming down, you guys. Wendy, Marina, which one of you guys want to take the screen after me and pull up a resume?
I'll do it.
Okay. Enjoy
Yeah.
working with flexible team, established. Follow me, students, on these. I'm hoping that you follow me and reading me now that you've seen the screen. I was doing this when you guys weren't even seeing the screen. That's when I thought I had company. So thanks a lot, Wendy.
I messaged you.
You say anything. Proofread, proofread, proofread. Okay, what else we got here? Hope you follow me here. All this stuff is important. Okay, these are giving examples. Again, we're talking about a chronological resume. Yeah, consistency in your wording on that resume, and you're going to see some in a few minutes here. Underline not everything, you guys. You underline stuff for emphasis only. It used to be a no to bold, but now you can bold. Be careful with all that underlining though, and don't box anything in on a resume. And nothing fancy, no emojis or cute faces or whatever, pictures.
Hey, Emmitt, can I ask you a quick question?
Go for it.
I'd recently heard that italicizing could be bad for AI for reading. So is that something you've heard about as well?
Yeah, thank you. No, you don't want to do any stuff like that. No italics and nothing like that. That's a good question. We already talked about this as far as don't list your references on the resume. No color coding either. Nothing fancy and cute like that. Those for those art students. You want to stay conservative, all right? Some people have the audacity. This might sound crazy, and I mean it too. There's to get attention. Of course, they would put a kissing lip thing on it, and some people even spray cologne or perfume. And you have just given the hiring manager bad allergies. Okay, Wendy, you ready? You have one you want to throw out there, and then what we want to do, students, is critique this and see if it relates to the things we just talked about. That. So I'm going to pull out. That's how I do that, Wendy. Or you just jump in. How do I get out of here?
Yeah, I'll screen share.
Okay.
How about now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was mentioning, you could see that this is a freshman student's resume because they only have a very small section for activities and position. And then they have their high school and also Cal State Long Beach information on there with some additional skills. Emmitt, do you want to say something about this?
Yeah, the students, I think it's nice, but we don't want all of these things here. We don't want these color-coded things here. It's too fancy. I'm trying to pull up a bigger shot of this thing.
I could zoom it in for
There
you.
it is. Yeah. Wendy, did you put the color codes here?
No, it already came like that.
Okay, no, we definitely don't want this, students, okay? This is the example of you don't want to be too fancy. It will stand out. You want to stay conservative with your resume. They have the bilinguals, awesome. Wait a minute, let me see something here.
I'm controlling the screen, so
Okay.
if
Oh,
you
that's you. Okay, so I think bilingual, you might want to say oral and written. Okay, I'm looking at this. What am I missing here? Okay, students, what do you see? What questions would you have when you see this?
Yeah, students, can you notice any errors that this particular person did? See if you could spot what they did right and what they did wrong. Does anyone like to share?
Inconsistent layout. I see some of the spacings are quite different throughout.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. There's some irrelevant white space in the additional skills section.
Was this a one-pager?
Yes, it is.
A lot of us.
This might be too nitpicky, but I'm also seeing italics, which we just talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see those?
If you scroll down under education and awards,
Yeah,
I'm seeing all of the
they're all-
APs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good. Good. As they say in baseball, good eye. What else?
Listed the high school above Cal State University of Long Beach.
Oh,
Would it?
good eye. Yeah, why would they do that? Okay.
Yeah, and then one student said they only put down the numbers of the classes. So yeah, that's a good point. For example, for EE, that's an abbreviation. We don't want to do that. EE, say electrical engineering, you spell it out.
It's a little too many here. We really want to be very specific, again, specific to that job description. Listing your classes is if you're very short on experiences. I see that a lot in freshmen, especially starting now, and then if they're applying for an internship in the summer, if they're in the calc series, you want to put that down to physics or whatever. Not too much. And then you're looking at that's too much stuff. Extracurricular activities, too much.
Yeah.
Not beating you up with it, but
Yeah.
it's just too much. Oh my God.
Yeah. Like Emmitt said, like some of these are good, but then the other ones are pretty irrelevant. Like, yeah, it's great that this person is well-rounded and it shows that he has many interests and is an avid volunteer for all these nonprofits. But in terms of saving space, you only have one page to present all your experiences. So I would say that, he leaves the more relevant ones that shows the leadership, like California Scholarship Federation Vice President of Technology. That's relevant and also shows leadership and management skills. And also like the Computer Science Club, Experimental Sounding Rocket Association, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer. Like these ones are more relevant to his major. Cross country, track and field, unless you have space for it and you want to show some personality, don't overwhelm the recruiter with all of these information.
You got the gold medal.
And also like Save Our Beach. Yeah, it's good that you have environmental awareness, but really you're interviewing for an engineering job, right? And then also like the APs for the coursework. I believe APs are from high school, so I mean it's a given that you've taken AP courses, right? You made it this far to college, so like that's extraneous. You don't need to like list out every single classes you took. And then like again, like with the Eagle Scout, AP Scholar, like almost every UC or Cal State student was an AP Scholar,
But
right? Like doesn't make you
let me jump in here for a second. There's some redundancy here. You had Boy Scouts of America, then you have Eagle Scout. Now you keep that Eagle Scout because man, I'm proud of you for becoming Eagle Scout because it's no joke. It takes a couple of years. But you don't have to have Boy Scouts of America if you have Eagle Scout because that's Boy Scouts of America. But Eagle Scout is an outstanding achievement.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go ahead, a lot of this stuff needs to go in the activity.
Yeah, like Coaches Award, like if I'm sure a lot of us have gotten these kind of awards in high school, right? So you don't want to. This is a technical engineering job. It's not your first job. It's not an entry-level job. You're applying to be an engineer, so we don't want to like put in these stuff that everybody else have too.
Somebody said something really good here as far as there are no certificates, and other than Eagle Scout, there's no leadership stuff here. We need to. If you're an officer in an organization or whatever, if you have some of those, you can throw those in there. You can take out a lot of the other activity stuff. Mm-hmm. What did the student say about the Java? I didn't.
One student said it would be helpful to put certifications or describe the level of expertise in Java programming. Java programming?
Like they said, Griffith Award. Nobody knows. I mean, I shouldn't say.
Oh, yeah, like right here for the additional skills. You don't want to say like not native, like Emma said. You want to say like or written or like proficiency,
And leave it.
proficient. Doesn't sound very professional.
Right.
And then website builder, that doesn't sound very professional either. You could say like coding or programming. Yeah, like that just doesn't, the language doesn't sound very formal.
For the student, I mean, wow, they're very active, that's for sure.
Yeah, 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 and it just takes up too much space.
It does. And as soon as you
Also,
look
like,
at,
yeah, also like there's a huge space for the heading for the first name.
but did it come like that?
Yeah, yeah. And then like instead of taking up so much space for activities, coursework, list out your actual job experience, whether it's working at a fast food restaurant, or it's projects you've worked on, or very short-term internship, anything that you have. Create a section that says experience. Doesn't have
This
to.
is a really good student, and again, I'm sorry, yeah, I really want to recommend that this student get a copy of the career manual to really tone this down. And again, students, there is a fair for STEM engineering students on the 23rd of September, so you want to have a resume ready for that. Anyway, did we mention that anyway, Wendy?
I sent out an email about the
Okay.
engineering virtual job fair.
Yeah, here's an example of a great human being, a lot of activity, awesome, but this is not going to get the attention that you want because it's overwhelming with other stuff. I think that a lot of stuff, particularly in the extracurriculum, that interview stuff, you can talk about some of these in the interview. You highlight some stuff to them, and it's a good conversation. If you got some excellent stuff going on here, but we need to consolidate a lot of things here and rearrange things here, especially as pointed out at the top, the high school thing.
Yeah.
What year is this student? 24.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so this would be like a great resume, like applying to college. It shows that you're a well-rounded, holistic individual. But in terms of applying for a job, you want to keep this as technical as possible. So the bulk of your resume should be your work experience and how you are able to demonstrate that you have great work ethic, you're responsible, you're a team player, and that should be the majority of your resume. And then also up here, the career objective is kind of long. Diligent college age student with proven knowledge of computer-aided engineering. Yeah, this first sentence is good. Frequently praised as being persistent by my peers. I can be relied upon to help your company achieve goals. I don't think this is needed. I don't think this is necessary. If they want references, they'll ask for it, and that references should come from your previous employers and not your peers. So I think just keeping it 1 or 2 sentences enough.
So we don't want to be stressing the student out. I would love to see the second draft of this, and feel free to give me this one, because I would like for this to be prepared for the what's coming up, the career fair.
Yeah.
So I don't know I don't know who the student is. I don't know if the student is attending right now, but we're being critical here. We're not being negative. We're trying to be constructive here. A lot of good stuff on here, but we need to consolidate it and make it relevant. Marina, you have anything to say on this one before we move on to another one?
Yeah, I think because it's this is a starter resume. Everything that you guys said is exactly right and relevant. And like Wendy said, it's a fantastic foundation to start from, but we can just kind of transition some of those things. We were talking about transferable skills. You have that on here for sure. So it's just about massaging it a little bit to make sure that it is industry ready. So yeah, everything you guys said is relevant.
Awesome GPA. Oh my God, I'm glad I don't have to compete. I didn't have to compete with you in high school.
Yeah, seriously, right?
Yeah.
To be definitely a teacher's pet. Let's look at another resume. Let me get a draft if that student is here.
Okay. This one. This is less color coded, and majority is the work experience. That's good. He has a LinkedIn on here, and also the certification and electronics he's familiar with. That's good.
I remember looking at this. Wendy, can you go all the way down on this one
Mhm.
for me?
Yeah.
Where's the, okay. And can you open that up a little bit?
Yeah. You want to see education, or you want to see?
No, yeah, I wanted to see the year of the student.
Transfer, newly transferred.
Oh, really? So where's Cal State Long Beach?
Yeah, so
If
the
this acceptable.
student needs to put Cal State Long Beach underneath Cypress College and put your expected graduation date and your
Yeah.
major.
Otherwise, it's dated. You need to put Cal State Long Beach on there now, unless you plan to transfer out already. You definitely don't have it in here. Put that down there, young man, young lady, whoever you are. Let me
The
see.
other thing that I can see right off the bat with this one is all of the personal pronouns. So it's a really weird resume formatting thing, but you don't actually want to say things like I have been, I, me, my, us, we. It's definitely something that you guys want to refrain from doing, is using personal pronouns. And again, it's a weird resume thing that I don't always understand, but you don't have to use complete sentences either. So you want to use those keywords that Emmitt was talking about before, and always start your sentences off with one of those keywords or hot words, as they're called, just to kind of show what it is that you're bringing to the table. And then same thing with the skill summary too. It's a bit lengthy again. So you really want to be answering 3 questions. You want to be answering, who are you? What can you bring to the table? And what do you want? So you should be able to do that in one sentence, really, 1 or 2 sentences. And it should actually highlight exactly what you can bring to the table, if that makes any sense.
This was a one pager here.
Yeah, and I think there could actually include more content if he takes out the reference section.
Yeah.
That's not usually asked for right off the bat when they ask you to submit your resume. Usually comes afterwards. So the student could actually take out this section and then just elaborate on more of your personal projects or your awards or honors.
So I guess the student is not working. They say since October 2018. Did you get an indication that they're
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this student, you need to put like when you started working until when did you leave, or if you're still working there, you should put October 2018 to present. That's the right way to state it.
I'm confused with the dates. The chronological. There's a chronological issue here. I vote for a redo. You have some good information. The summary is very word. I would say summary of experience and grab some of this. If I'm moving my mouse around like they're saying my mouse, I would say summary of experience and grab some work experience and put up there. It's hard to read this in terms of the chronological order, because I'm looking at something that says 2020 and then something that says 2018, and there's the education thing for sure. Cal State Long Beach.
Yeah. Yeah. So what Emmitt is saying, that like since his most recent work experience is Aero Crane Host Corps, that should be the first thing that's being listed, and then you know, if it's 2018 and he stopped working there 2018, then this goes second. But if he's still working there right now, then yeah, NASA Jet Propulsion Lab could be indicated there as the first one. But yeah.
The reason I'm looking at your statements is well taken, what you're saying.
Yeah. Marina, do you have anything to add?
Here another, and if you guys haven't already did it, again, get the career manual. This just needs a restructure. All the information is here. You need to put it in a different format so it can be easier to read.
Yeah.
The chronological order.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just like you guys said, there's a lot of really great information here, but it's almost overwhelming the way that it's formatted. Yeah, so we just want to make sure that, yeah, it's massaged again, just like the other one, so that we can highlight the skills that you're bringing to the table instead of feeling overwhelmed by the amount of information on there.
Absolutely. Let's pull up another one, Wendy.
So we got a really good question. And would you would you recommend not using templates when making a resume? Honestly, I think templates are great as long as they are working in your favor. I think it kind of helps to showcase a little bit of your style or how you set things up. But again, that template that we were just looking at was fantastic for that student. It's just the amount of information that was put in that template that makes it feel overwhelming. So yeah, you can use a template for sure, but just make sure that it's working in your favor and not against you. Really quick, sorry to jump in again. One more comment about the templates. The other thing is there's a lot of templates out there that are made for different industries. So for example, if you're an art student, go ahead and add a picture of yourself and some of your work, right? And there's going to be templates out there that are going to cater towards that. However, with engineering, you got to remember that you're submitting it to an ATS, and not every ATS is going to be able to support any sort of graphics or icons or photos, etc. And you want it to remain professional. So just if you're going to use a template, make sure that you're using, ATS is the type of system that a lot of companies use for resume submissions. So you want to make sure that it's as clean looking. And again, just like we were saying earlier about the italics, you want to make sure that the template also doesn't detract from your overall resume, because you don't want the situation where they go to download it and then it comes up blank because the system can't recognize the icons that you've included, etc. So just be careful with that too when you're picking out your template.
Very good point here.
That's it.
This is a good starter right here. That's for sure. The indication here is that Marina, is this like a junior?
Well, this is transfer student.
Okay.
Yeah, this is transfer student.
If this student is here, I just want to make a comment here. I'm trying to see. Study abroad, yeah. What do the student want to do? Is there an emphasis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody see that? I can't grasp what the student wants.
Yeah.
I don't have any specific emphasis on that because that's going to be personally tailored to each that I'm applying to. I think I'll be putting more emphasis on it geared towards whatever I'm applying to.
Oh, okay.
If that's the case, then I would make a recommendation that you have one that you use, like this one, for tailoring it towards whatever company you're going to be applying to. And then you have one that actually is like what Emmitt was just saying. Make sure that it is focused, because, for example, if you're at a career fair and you're visiting 10, 11 different companies, you're not going to have the opportunity to actually tailor every single resume you hand in. And then also too, at some point, you might cast a wide net even if you're applying online, and it's going to get very tiresome to be tailoring your resume over and over and over again. So try to, if you're applying to the same types of companies, let's just say you're applying to Raytheon, Boeing, Northrop, and JPL. All of those companies are going to have a lot of the same characteristics or keywords in their job descriptions. So you can use that general one to actually apply to each of those, just because, again, if you're casting a wide net or if you're going to a career fair, you're not going to have the opportunity to tailor it exactly to that specific company.
So
for this, so would that be with like a summary statement in the beginning, or how would you think about a more generalized but still more direct resume for like job career fairs and stuff?
I say yes, but Emmitt, what do you think?
I like summary statements.
Yeah, me too.
Easier to read.
Yeah.
Wow, the student's been to Australia. The study abroad, man, it's really, see how that stands out, that study abroad? Um,
Yeah.
I think that this student, again, I'm looking when I'm talking here, this student is here. This student's in the workshop, right?
Yeah,
that's
me.
who's talking.
I'm trying to get it ready for the career fair.
Okay, that's you, Travis. So, man, you get a very good GPA. And, you know, we struggle with the, are you about to graduate?
Yeah, I graduate December 2021, so I have 3 more semesters, including this one.
Okay, the chemical engineering, we're struggling, but it's going to be okay because a lot of those companies have left California because of the environmental laws. But aren't you looking, or are you, should I say, looking at many other companies? What do you want to do, Travis?
Right now, I'm kind of looking towards renewable energies and like the alternative food industry.
You should be okay then. You should be okay.
Yeah, I might be moving to Australia once I graduate. So that's another thing that comes into play. So I'm looking for pretty much broad, I want to get some form of experience for a summer internship, and then I'll be graduating coming that next semester and then kind of be figuring more stuff out.
Yeah, then I definitely say add that skill summary on there, because nowhere on this resume does it say that you're interested in renewable energy or alternative food, right? So you don't have to be that specific, but I would actually, you know, even if in your summaries, your skill summaries, you say something along those lines so that the companies that you're applying to kind of can get a feel for, you know, where you're headed or what you want to do. Yeah, just so that it is tailored a little bit more towards what you want to do. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about making it for every single company, but I think it would help to just kind of have some sort of direction on here for that.
Okay, and so since I'm already at a 1-page limit, would you guys recommend me cutting out some of my more unnecessary work experience, or trying to condense it down in formatting, or what's a good way to open up more space for me to add the summary statement?
I say formatting. You have a lot of white space on here that I could definitely play with. So yeah. And I can help you with that too, because yeah, I know formatting sometimes gets tricky, but yeah, I say formatting more than cutting down what you have, because what you have is fantastic. It's just more so about making it you know, tailored for the industry that you're hoping to get into.
So are you saying, should my tailoring go even beyond the summary statement? Are you saying that the way that I'm presenting my experiences, and that I should be trying to tailor that more towards engineering as well?
Let me see
What do you think, Emma?
let me see the top of that, Wendy. I'm only can see the educate. Really? Yeah, I really think you need a summary statement way at the top. You know, Travis, how in the past people would just have objectives, right? Take some of the stuff all the way down, Wendy. Can you go all the way down? All the way down.
That's it.
Is that it? It
Yes.
stops at donate life.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're going to have a 1-pager anyway. So therefore, Travis, I think you should just take some. You have some good stuff on there. I don't think you need to do too much, but I think a summary statement for you to highlight what you just told us as far as the field you want to get into. Yeah, I don't think.
So do you think I should do some sort of like environmental spin? Because a lot of the driving forces behind renewable energies and alternative foods is because of the environmental benefit and the way I could help the world. So doing kind of adding that type of stuff to the statement of saying like my motivating drivers, is that something else that should be added in one of those type of statements?
A brief line in that, again, that summary statement. Because that summary statement is also showing your objective.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Marina.
Yeah, so again, you just want to answer those 3 questions. Who are you? What can you bring to the table? And what are you looking for? So if you're looking for an internship or an entry-level position, that's what you're looking for. What you can bring to the table are, you know, the skills that you've listed in your resume. And you don't have to list everything out, but you can definitely list something out. And then, you know, who you are is someone who's interested in renewable energy, right? So I'm just trying to like brainstorm a skill summary that you could come up with right this second, but it could be something as simple as, attentive chemical engineering undergraduate student with excellent problem solving skills and an interest in renewable energy seeking an internship. There's your one-liner, right? Based off of your actual resume. And it answers all three of those questions in one sentence. And that will at least allow the companies that are looking at your resume to connect the dots between everything that you've done and where you're headed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, so I think honestly, in this particular resume, for everybody else that's looking at this resume, the setup is perfect. The dates are great. The formatting's fantastic. The only thing that's really missing is that the connection that connects all the rest of the dots, and that's how you can do that through your skills summary, if that makes any sense.
Okay, you said that. Yes, Travis, you still working with us? You were just at HSI STEM. You still?
Yeah. I'm presently working, or currently working.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some of your keywords in here too, we can definitely massage as well. So like what I'm looking at right now for your Excel peer mentor position, actually, even just going to the camp facilitator position, there are some things that we can pull from, of your renewable or sustainability initiatives and plant them, the keywords, into your previous work experience. This is the one time that we are going to say you guys have our permission to plagiarize. Don't do it too blatantly, but you can actually take those keywords from the job descriptions of the positions that you're applying to or the internships that you're applying to and plug them into your previous work experience. So like your floor clerk one for Bill's Ace Hardware, the fact that you say problem solve for customers, that's perfect. So I feel like we could actually use some of that same verbiage in your camp facilitator position and in your Excel peer mentor position as well. And that would kind of help also continue to connect those dots.
Okay, this has been exciting, and we're going to do this again. We need to follow this up with a branding workshop, creating your brand, and also interview skills. I hope your students will show up at, I don't know how the Career Center is setting it up, but get in there very early as far as the application or register and get this resume in there. Travis, get this in there, okay?
So yeah, I've been working with the Career Development Center. Am I able to work with you guys as the College of Engineering Professional Development Service? Do you guys also do resume editing? Because this was close to towards the end of my work with the Career Development Center, and that's why I wanted to do this as more of an engineering specific thing to start tailoring it more towards engineering.
Yeah, who are you working with?
Robert.
Okay, what you can do is you can just you can send me your next draft from what we talked about, and we can just take it from there, okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, so I put Emmitt and my email in the chat. Due to interest of time, we won't be able to go over the other resumes we received. However, if you email us, we'll be sure to take a look at it and give you our feedback. And if anyone has any last minute questions, this is your chance to ask. And one student says, would it be helpful to write that I would be willing to relocate? And if so, how could it be included? Emmitt, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, down at the bottom, we'll relocate. If you have that room, just put another bullet and say at the bottom, and of course,
Okay.
at the interview, for sure. I saw that.
Yeah, another student asked, when is the interview skills workshop? We're currently scheduling it right now, tentatively thinking of September 22nd, but you will receive more details on that. Next week, we have preparation for the engineering virtual job fair with the assistant director of the Career Development Center, Gina Flores, and that is next Wednesday, September 16th, and you will receive an email invite to the listserv.
And
And
I'll be sending out information on all of that as well.
yeah,
We strongly encourage you to, I know you're getting a lot of stuff in, but when you see information from Marina's area and when you see information from our office, please cite it because it's dated material.
Yeah.
When something pop up and we send it out, you got to jump on it. And I noticed also that other people sometimes jump on this outside of Cal State Long Beach. So stay assertive, stay aggressive, stay sharp, okay? Thank you guys very much. Wendy, we can meet after.
yeah. And this video will be posted on our office's website, and you can find that by searching Cal State Long Beach Office of Professional Development and Internship. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you
Marina.
guys. See you next time, next workshop. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Marina. Take care.
Thanks,
We'll talk
everyone.
soon. Okay.
Thanks.